You guys, so I'm going to show you why, even though I won't break even on monthly cash flow for this property, it still makes sense to buy this house, live in it, and rent out the remaining bedrooms. So there's 3 bedrooms. I would live in one, and I would rent out 2 or maybe 3 because there's this attached area here. Like maybe it's a former garage. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but let me show you why. So here's the initial investment. You have to set down 40 grand for this 600 grand house. And how does that happen? Well, you have to put 5% down for an owner occupied loan, and there's going to be some rehab costs to get it up to market rents. Like I think the majority of houses are going for about $280 per square foot, and so this is a bit mispriced at 219 because it does look a little weird. So it's going to need some work. I'll show you why I think it's going at a low price. It's just like, just kind of a weird layout, and so it throws people off when they see it. I mean, the navy blue is okay. I don't know. I might go with white. Okay, so first off, like, why is the couch facing a window? That's kind of weird. And why is there like this sunken, like you have to step up here? So that's weird. So maybe I would fill this space in so it's just one level. You wouldn't have to step down. That might be some work to be done. This is kind of cool. I like this seating area here. So weird colors in the bedrooms, and this room is just wild. A lot of bookshelves, strange colors. So this is going to take some work. Another wild room. So you obviously see why this house is going for cheaper than the other houses on the market. So let's scroll through here. So this is also a weird room. And so this is like it looks like a former garage. This looks like some unfinished, unpainted drywall. Like this used to be a garage. That's what it looks like. And this thing up here, it looks like maybe that was where the garage door was going down. So that's what it looks like. This used to be like this was a garage or something. So you could potentially convert this back to a garage. You could convert it into like a mother-in-law unit and rent it out on Airbnb. But I think this property's best use is as an Airbnb. So I don't think it would make sense to I think this makes more sense as like a game room or potentially converting it back to a garage. So awesome view from this house. So this is why I think it's worth the effort to fix this, like the weird layout inside is, the view is amazing and it's a good price. So those are 2 things you can't beat. So okay, so let's take a look at how I came to this number. So I think it's going to take an initial cash investment of 40 grand. I think if I buy the house, live in it for 2 years, and then sell it after 2 years, and take advantage of zero capital gains for owner occupied real estate, I think I'm going to get a 154% ROI. Like I said, negative rental cash flow, but that's okay. The big assumption here is that housing prices are going to keep going up. The assumption I make is housing prices rise 5% a year for the next 2 years. That might not happen. It might be higher, it might be lower. Seattle housing prices, yearly, they're up I think 20% percentage rise. Housing price percentage increase. That's what I want. Okay. Seattle homes are up 25% year over year. So, that's very high. So it's probably not going to be that high, but 10% is not out of the realm of crazy. So I think that it's going to sell for 840 grand. This is after repairing it and after 2 years of price appreciation. So let's take a look at how I came to these numbers. So I calculated this house hack ROI, and I'm assuming, first of all, that I'm going to purchase it for you know, 599 grand. So how do I get to this point? So first, you need to come up with an average. You have to figure out what the after repair value is going to be. So you have to figure out what's the dollar per square foot this will be after you put in your rehabs. So this house is located like right about here. So what I do is I go on Redfin, I I set it to houses and multifamily, click it on sold, and I try to limit it to square footage houses that are similar to the one I'm interested. So this one has 2,700, so I'm looking at 2,000 to 3,500 square feet. So there's a total of 9 houses. So there's something cool. We can just download all of these. That's pretty cool. Boom. So now we have our comps here. So we have dollars per square foot here. So let's sort that from smallest to biggest. And you can go through and you can check each one of these. You can see, all right, well, like, how do I, like, what is so cool about this 430 house? What rehab am I going to need to do to my house to make it look like this one? So you can ask yourself some questions like that. So our house, we said, is 2736 square feet. Let's just 2737. And so now we're going to calculate our comp dollar per square foot. And how we're going to do that, we can do, we could just take the average of all of them, because these are all this is within like a 1 mile radius of our house, which is right here. So I don't mind like adding this guy here because it's so close to this one. Obviously, like, more relevant is like all the ones right around a lake, which is where ours is, but I don't know. I think this is okay. Adding these other ones. Okay, so our comp is going to be 280 per square foot. Our after repair value, it's going to be our square feet times our comp dollar per square feet. So we expect this to be 767, and we have to figure out what our rehab costs would be. This is how you would calculate, like, if you're going to try and flip this house, or if you're going to try and do a BRRRR where you pull out all of your money, then you would do this estimate. So let's do a rehab estimate down here. And so we saw, based on the pictures, we have some idea of like what rehab needs to be done. So we think that we need to do, we need to fix that floor, which is all like 2 levels, which is kind of strange. We got to paint for sure, because there's some wild looking paint there. What else? Paint, floor. Let's just say kitchen. Like, maybe we would do new fixtures. Like, maybe we go like white with like black fixtures, paint all the cabinets white, and get new black fixtures, something like that. It's more modern. That's a potential. So let's call this, or we could like try and minimize our budget. Let's say we'll just keep everything as is. We'll keep these colors here. It's kind of like wood grain colors. So let's say floor. I'm not really sure, because I don't really know contractor prices. I'm just gonna try and be conservative and say it's gonna cost a lot. I've heard $5 per square foot is a common price for painting. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick with that. So I'm gonna estimate our rehab costs to be just the sum of these two. So we say 30 grand. And so our best bid, and this is like taking into account closing costs and our profit margin that we wanted to get. And this is the calculation you do if you were going to, try and flip this house or get into a BRRRR with 0 of your money in. Like we're gonna have 40 grand of our cash in. So this is not a perfect BRRRR, but I still think it's worthwhile, especially because I think the housing prices are going to continue to rise. That's my personal opinion. So we're going to go this guy times 0.7. We're going to subtract our rehab costs. And why do we do times 0.7? Because that takes out our profit margin and closing and financing costs. So really, we would want to pay no more than 503 grand. And if you were unsure, if you had no confidence that housing prices would rise, then you would be very firm and you say, I'm not paying $1 more than this amount here. And that's going to give you some cushion even if prices do fall before you get to sell or before you get to refinance your house. So we're looking to pay 600 grand, so 100 grand more. So that's potentially concerning. So let's go ahead and take these numbers to our Python. We're gonna say our after repair value. So we're gonna put in this 280 now. Let's call this 280. And we're gonna multiply by our square feet. And that's gonna give us this, about 760 grand number. Our principal pay down. So we can just search, mortgage amortization table and just click the first link. And so our loan amount is going to be 95% of the purchase price. So our purchase price is hopefully, it's just going to be this guy. So 95%, that's taking out our 5% down payment. Okay, so here's going to be our loan amount. Our loan amount's going to be this guy, 30 years. Okay, let's calculate. Okay, so here's our monthly payment. But so part of the gains that we make is the principal that we're going to be paying. So if we sell this in 2 years, like the principal we paid, that's going to be our gain. So $750 about every month we're going to be gaining. So we're going to hold this for 2 years, starting in January, and then sell it in January 2024. So right here, we'll sell it. So we'll collect all these payments before that. So we want to add this up and figure out how much we're going to save in principal payments. So I'm just going to do some magic. Okay, let's figure out. So this is date. Payment date. Date. This guy is payment. This is principal. This is interest. Okay, so we want to add up all these numbers because this is what we're going to be able to put into our pocket. So let's grab that. Let's go like this. Okay, so we want to add all these numbers up. So I'm just going to do some magic here. Looking for this, going to replace that with plus. Okay, so let's go ahead and figure out how much this is. Okay, so 18 grand in principal payments. Oh wait, did we do? Oh, so our interest rate is probably going to be 3.5%. Oh, so this gets even better. Nice. Okay. Yeah, so we did this a little bit wrong. That's okay. Yeah, we went up to here. So I'm just redoing this because I changed the interest rate. So let's do this one more time. Okay. Date. So principal is going to be this guy. There we go. Okay, so we want this. Okay, so we want to add all these up. Search for a new line, replace with plus, plus. Let's add this up. Okay, so we're going to get 22 grand in principal repayment, so that's pretty cool. Let's just call this 25. Go like this to see more easily what that is. Let's, whoops. Okay, let's delete this. All right, so now we figured out our after repair value, our principal pay down. We want to figure out what's our sale price. Our sale price, so we're assuming that housing prices are going to rise for 5% for 2 years. And this formula is just, your principal times 1 plus your rate. And then this value is squared because of compound interest. So in this case, our principal is going to be, so our value of this compounding is going to be our after repair value. And we're assuming a 5% rise in housing prices. And so this is going to be our sale price in 2 years. So our sunk cash, this is the amount of money that we have to put into the deal in order to get into the deal. And so what is that? That's our down payment, which is 5% of the purchase price, plus the rehab, whatever money we put into the rehab. So if I do an Airbnb, it's going to be paint plus Airbnb renovations. If I just do a long-term rehab and just skip the Airbnb, and Airbnb, I'm assuming this is like, renovate former garage into, into extra apartment. That's what this is kind of. And this one is just, skipping that. So, okay, so what are we doing here? We're going to do, let's think about it. Let's just assume we're going to skip the Airbnb thing and just do a regular, rent out the rooms over the 2 years. So let's stick with this long-term rehab guy. And then we're going to get the price appreciation. So what is that? It's going to be our sale price, which should be this guy. It's going to be sale price minus the remaining loan amount. So the remaining loan amount is going to be our, I guess this is 0.95 because that's the amount of our loan. Our loan is 0.95 times the purchase price, 95% of it, minus the principal pay down, this guy. And then minus, let's say at the end of 2 years, there's some wear and tear, and we have to pay some more money to get it back up into saleable shape. So that's what I'm assuming here. Okay, so that's the price appreciation after 2 years. Okay. What else? So depreciation. So there's some cool tax benefits with real estate. They assume that your building kind of withers away to zero after 27 and a half years. So you're able to reduce your income by that amount. So it's depreciation. Let's see how we get that. Okay, so the value of the land or the building, we can depreciate the building, and the value of that is 280 grand. And I got that from this property tax records. And so you can just search, for me, I searched Snohomish County property records, and I found the first link, and I just went here, and I just put in, 17116 Freestad. And there we go. So we have our property. So you can find these in your county as well. Most of this is public information. So here's the value of the land is 141. The value of the property is 280. Added together, that's the full value of the property according to the county. Okay. So that's how we figure out, let's see how we do depreciation. So what's our depreciation per year? It's 280 grand divided by 27.5. That's our yearly depreciation times our marginal tax bracket. So I'm in the 32% tax bracket, so that's about $4,400. Wait, what is that? Let's see what that is. Oh, oops. Okay, so it's about 3 grand a year that I save in depreciation. So over 2 years, about 6 grand and depreciation savings. Okay. Depreciation, long-term cash flow. So let's see. So every month, what's the cash flow going to be every month? So there's three. I'm assuming that like, so if I don't convert this into like an Airbnb studio, I would just live in this kind of weird area and then rent out the three bedrooms in the main house. So I'm assuming that I would rent out each of the 3 bedrooms for $900, and then I would subtract the monthly, mortgage payment from that, and whatever's remaining, that's going to be the monthly cash flow. And then over 2 years, there's 24 months, so you multiply that by 24. That's going to be the cash flow after 2 years. Okay, what else? So rent saved. So I'm paying $1,300 a month in rent right now. If I buy my own house, I'm not going to be paying that anymore. And I might still be paying a bit if this cash flow is negative, but that'll even out. So let's see, rent saved. Let's think. I guess I could add this to monthly cash flow. Yeah, because I'm paying $1,300 a month. Get rent saved. Yeah, it's just kind of pulling it out and labeling it. This can kind of go like inside there. I think you guys get the point here. So there's cash flow from other people that would be living in the house, and also rent saved that I would otherwise be paying. Okay, so what's the ROI of this whole thing? So if you get out a dollar gain, so dollar gain equals our sunk cash times 1 plus our ROI squared. And so, dollar cash, dollar gain divided by sunk equals this guy. And let's see. Now we raise it to the 1/2 to get rid of this guy on each side. And now we can subtract by 1, say -1, and that's going to be our ROI. And this is how I get this thing right here. And then we multiply by 100 to get a percentage. So I'm returning all these values so that we can print them out down here and take a look and see what they look like. So I'm giving this formula. I'm going to say a purchase price is 600 grand, and based on that, we're expecting 154% return. It's a little bit inaccurate because this is in 2024 dollars, which probably will be worth less than 2022 dollars. So if I were doing this accurately, what would I do? Let's say dollar gain equals dollar gain divided by, we want to bring this back. So 1 plus, what's the interest rate? Probably like 3.5%. So that's turning 2024 dollars into 2022 dollars. So it'll be just a bit less. Let's see. Yeah, so we go from 150, so it's slightly less. A bit less of gain, but that's okay. All right. Even still, assuming prices do not fall in the next 2 years, like let's see what happens what if I assume that, like, what if prices just don't rise at all, right? What if it's just zero? Let's see what happens there. Where's this gain coming from? So rent saved. There's the value of raising the dollar per square foot from 219 to 280. So there's that value. And what else am I saving here? Depreciation, long-term cash flow. Interesting. I'm not 100% sure if I believe in these numbers, but they tell me that, rent saved 31 grand, 1,300 times 24. Maybe it's not exactly correct, but I think it's directionally correct. I think I'm going to save like a pretty good chunk of dough just by, buying a house and renting out the rooms. So that's what I got. See you.